And hello, people in TV land. Ah, there we go. I am in a Zoom room with some other people, and we're going to do this session of the somatic inquiry role play, formerly known as role play, with the idea of just having a chance to roll around in our bodies and come into relationship with ourselves in whatever way feels good for us in this moment. So take everything as feels good in your body. Um, I did title this Micro Movement, Self Compassion, and Making Space. I feel like micro movement for me is just a great way to renegotiate the inner space. And the self compassion is just to give ourselves compassion that we are here on the planet doing our best. And that is enough, and it's okay, and we don't need to do more. And then, yeah, so the micro movement and the making space kind of go together for me. And I'm going to start laying down today. Oh, and I think that for me today, I feel like going into this, I think I'm going to be fairly active and do a lot of rolling around to kind of hydrate tissue and get things moving. I've got some soreness and some inflammation in my body, so I want to kind of let my body uh, reabsorb some of the lactic acid and some of the other stuff going on. And Heather's just popping in. So we are going to start either laying down or seated. And let's start with some breath practice. Hey, Heather, I'm just going to mute you because we already started and we're recording. So, um, but we didn't really do anything. We're just coming in. Maybe a couple of big deep sighs, big filling up, letting out some sound on the exhale, coming into relationship with sound in your own body. I read something really interesting about muscles making sound and the sounds inside of our body. So tuning into when we make verbal sound, auditory sound, we can really hear it and I can really feel it as well. So maybe tuning into some of that sensation of vibration through sound. And I'm just inviting my body to wiggle and wriggle a little bit as I start to come into these ha's. Inviting in some sense of maybe it's delicious, or maybe it's just some kind of relief, or maybe it's just some kind of presence with yourself. So inviting in, I don't know, to me today, I feel very happy to see the people in my room. And so I feel kind of delicious and happy inside. And I just had a smoothie that was delicious that Anthony made. So I feel taken care of as well. Hmm. So I'm going to invite in this micro movement. And micro movement, it might just be that you feel the rise and fall of your breath. In the Laban work, we talk about growing and shrinking with the breath on this basic flow level, that there's this underlying shape flow support within our body as the organs are working, as our lungs are working, as our heart is working, as our lymphatic is moving through us. There's this underlying support. So maybe just coming into acknowledgement of that support that's already happening in your system. It's life support. It's your own human support of being alive. Breath, heartbeat, lymphatic, cerebrospinal fluid, the synovial fluid in your joints. Yeah, the blood flow moving through your whole body. And then your nervous system sending these messages. Parts of your nervous system are doing all sorts of exciting things and you don't need to think about it. They're just happening. And other parts of your nervous system are giving you information. These information of, oh, I'm moving, like proprioception. or interoception, or exteroception, being aware of what's happening around you. So throughout this whole session, I would love to invite your senses to just dance and participate in whatever way feels good. So sometimes your eyes may be open, sometimes your eyes may be closed. You may be in movement, you may be in stillness. It's almost like we opened up the playroom and we're all running around in there. And the playroom is just us being here in our bodies in this moment in time. Allowing and inviting in micro movement, breath, sound, if that feels good. And we could think of the micro movement also very much as like internal fluid play, like we are bodies of water. So playing with whatever sense of flow you have happening. Growing and shrinking, rising and falling, advancing, retreating, wriggling, squiggling. I once was at a lecture by what was he? Orthopedic surgeon who had discovered biotensegrity. And he was talking about how if he had gone back, if he had understood how the nature of movement happened in this really micro level on the body, he wouldn't have been a surgeon. He wouldn't have cut people open. So this was at the end of his career. He was coming to this different understanding of the tissues of the body. And one of the things that he said that stuck with me is that sort of on a fundamental foundational level inside of our bodies, we're just made of emulsions, colloids, and foams. So inside our body, we're just like all of these different sized stacked systems of bubbles working together. So sometimes that's very, very, very micro, and sometimes it's very macro. But I love that idea that we're just colloids, emulsions, and foams with different sort of densities, different sizes. So invite in that stacked bubbleness of the inner body with a sense of fluidity. We could think also like those bubbles aren't all empty, there's space inside of them. So we can tune to the internal space, the feeling of spaciousness inside of our bodies, or the external space, the feeling of spaciousness around us. And we can dance between those places as well. Maybe we're sort of feeling both of them. And inviting in that loving kindness and self-compassion. Compassion for ourselves. Here we are just trying to do our best. And if we are holding anger or guilt or shame, that's a big one. If we're holding that stuff against ourselves, it can be very hard on our bodies and on our tissues. So just inviting ourselves to forgive ourselves, to create some space for it's okay. We've been doing our best, and that's good enough. We don't have to be perfect. We can make mistakes. And we can still put ourselves out into the world even with mistakes, even imperfectly. When I feel into that idea that I can let go of some of the stuff I might have been holding against myself, I can feel my weight drop into the floor. I can feel myself sort of release and sink down, just letting the earth's gravitational pull connect me down to the floor. Held by the loving kindness of the gravitational pull of the earth, right? It helps me feel my own body. It helps me sense what it is to be here on the planet in my body as a human. And even as I feel that draw down into the earth, I feel other parts of my body really wanting to rise up and reach away. Oh, and when I say the words rise up, I just want to acknowledge that today is Juneteenth in the United States and that that is now a holiday for us. So just acknowledging that. There are cat activities happening in here. Yeah, so when I feel this relationship to gravity, there's also sort of the rebound of going down into gravity and then coming up and away, right? The lightness of air, the lightness of breath. Yeah, finding compassion for myself and finding compassion for all the beings, for all the creatures, for the planet. Yeah, every time I allow it, I find this sinking of like delicious sinking where I can just let go and drop down into the ground. In any kind of movement exploration, not any kind, but in these particular movement explorations, for me, there are always these moments where I feel like, oh, there's something there. Maybe I can let go of that. Maybe now is a good time to soften that part of my body or release that idea or that holding pattern. So let's invite some sound in again, like maybe some humming. Humming for the heart, humming for the yumminess of it. And I start to feel like into the bones of my face, into the bones of my cranium, my skull. Mm. And if I micro move my tongue in my mouth, so I'm kind of doing these little waves with my tongue, it starts to create sort of different overtone sounds in my own head, which brings awareness to different parts of the inside of my face, the inside of my jaw, the palate, the soft palate, and the hard palate. Even to my teeth. So maybe we can think about like creating inner space, letting go of old stuff with that hum sound, the yummy, delicious hum. Mm. Taking resting breaths whenever necessary. Ideally, inhaling through your nose. Mm. Mm. Micro movement could be underlying bigger macro movement, just like an underlying something that your awareness can touch into, or the tissues get this extra three-dimensionality, letting things integrate. And the integration could be like on physical levels, on movement levels, on spiritual levels, on psychological levels, just allowing your body to move in ways that feel good, harmonizing inside your body through easy, gentle movement. I'm going to add sound. So I'm going to share screen, share sound. Hello, people in TV land. And yeah, it's going to be Geoff Gersh. Hopefully, I land on something that's not too activated. It's sometimes hard to know. Allowing the sound to kind of come into your body and move with you. yourself find spaciousness inside, outside. Allowing your awareness to kind of swirl whirlpools and eddies, or to find the swirls and the whirlpools and eddies in the possibility, in the spaciousness around your body, inside your body. If you feel like you know where you're going, try going somewhere different so that you're giving yourself this real freedom to be different, to surprise yourself, to go to the unknown place. I have this imaginary web that I feel like I'm weaving, but the web is almost like it's taking away things instead of adding things. So as I'm playing in my imaginary web, it's like I'm taking away all the stuff and creating more space with it. So letting yourself play in any way that feels interesting. If an image comes up with an idea that's playful, go for it. yourself to notice if there's any little tension anywhere that you're holding on to. And if you can notice it, maybe you can soften it. Giving yourself total freedom, total permission to like move out or move in any of the stuff that you need to move out or in. That's a very open-ended idea. Creating spaciousness inside, feeling into the spaciousness outside. Ah. Also trusting your process, that whatever your process is, it's exactly the right one for you. And it may be different than mine, or it will be different. Even mine on a different day is different. So letting yourself experience through sensation, really just being present in your body, on the planet. Trusting into the intelligence of your own body, the deep, deep wisdom that is there in your cells, in your DNA, in the water in your body, right? This sort of cellular memory or the DNA memory or the memory of water, that's also inside of you. So within the self-compassion, maybe there's compassion for everyone that came before and all that surrounds you and for everyone that will come after. Also, opening to the space of the I don't know is really a nice practice, to just be in the maybe it's like this, maybe it's like that. Maybe it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe I don't need to know. Maybe there isn't a right and a wrong way to do any of this. There's that saying from the Talmud that every blade of grass has an angel above it that whispers, grow. What if we treated ourselves like that, whispering, grow, grow, little tiny blade of grass? What if we gave ourselves that love? When we move in different ways, we invite in different possibilities for being, which can sometimes feel uncomfortable if it's really foreign and unfamiliar. Sometimes the new is awkward and not easy. But if we do it in a very gentle manner with that grow, that loving, angelic presence of our own self with ourself, maybe then it's not so hard. It's not such a crashing, hard adjustment to change, but where we go, oh yeah, this is okay. I'm safe. This can even feel good. I can be in the I don't know, and it's okay. I can do it wrong, and I can forgive myself. Because there's really no wrong. Like, right? We just are doing our best. We can just do our best. And sometimes we fail. And that's how we learn. And we fall into spells or patterns. But when we start to offer this internal space, maybe there's more room for possibility. I'm going to end the live stream. So, TV land people, feel free to continue on your own.